everyone, I'm back again. Today I'm gonna tell you about the story of the day 4 in Iceland. We climbed a snow-capped mountain and visited the famous Diamond Beach. I also encountered one of the most drama I've ever had in my entire trip. So let me tell you about it. So the morning, just like many mornings in Iceland, the weather was unpredictable. But when we arrived at the snowy mountain, the weather wasn't too bad. Actually, after seeing all these snowy mountains and glaciers, I had this realization that many times the mountain and the glacier we imagine in our minds probably don't exist in most part of the real world. The mountains we dreamed of are always spotless and pure, but in reality, they're somewhat mottled and blurred. So it's very similar to my experience climbing a glacier in Alaska. You just put on all the heavier clothes halfway up the mountain, then the guide will repeatedly remind you, hey, not to stay straight from the group and not to change direction. So now look back, there's only one word to describe it. It's cold. Iceland is already very cold in the summer, but this place is another level. I was wearing a sweater, a thick jacket, and a raincoat on top of it. I was so grateful that I brought a raincoat on that day. It's not obvious on the picture, but by the time this picture was taken, a sad little drizzle has already begun to fall. So we moved forward to the glacier with the rain and the wind hitting us. That feeling was kind of painful and exciting. So you might think from that picture, you can see it's a deep abyss on the top of the mountain, but in reality, it's the size of my shoes. But the water inside was crystal clear and tastes great. So after coming down to the mountain, the sky was still cloudy. So when we reached the Diamond Beach, it seems like the beach was still there, but there wasn't many diamond left. After all, it was summer, so many of the ice has melted. And the others are just little fragments, so not worth mentioning. I didn't even take any pictures. So the most fascinating part of the Diamond Beach, though, was a vast lake with blocks of ice and snow. Some of them melted, some not, scattered across the surface. And in the video, you can see these icebergs and snow blocks in various shapes, lazily spread out along the shore, standing before the lake. No one said a word. Everyone was simply gazing at the view, savoring this rare feeling of being detached from the world. So you couldn't fly drone here, so we went to another side of the beach and launched the drone and captured a panoramic shot of the area. You can see from all these pictures that none of them has been added with any filters, so under the very thick cloud cover, the blue reflection from the lake still shines. So the iceberg scattered across the surface make it feel like you've reached the end of the earth. Well, in reality, this kind of landscape isn't very uncommon in Iceland. I've seen similar on the road for the next few days. But looking out into the distance, it reminded me of the kind of scene that mountains meets a river. And it's a very grand and sweeping landscape. There was even some people kayaking. I was trying to join them, but when I waved hello, they didn't really respond. Well, you could also see each iceberg look quite different. They have a unique shape like a lion or a tiger. Remind me of my childhood experience in the stone forest back in Yunnan province. So now you can see that my favorite picture is the one with the little girl I'm gonna show you right now. It reminds me of the girl from the post on the musical La Miserabilis. And also on the way to the Diamond Beach, a friend of us used an iPad to remotely synchronize her partner's location and chat message. And they discovered that in the middle of the night, well, in Asia, and the partner checked into a hotel room with someone else. So she was devastated and for the rest of the journey, and she was sobbing and wailing all the way to the beach. Well, I think she tried hard to compose herself, but I can still see her tears stains on the face. So that made me think of that little girl. Also, so on the way back, We saw two horses nuzzling each other. I think that kind of deepened her sorrow. So we finally reached the edge of a cliff, which we planned to rest. But we also saw a group of little ducks braving the rapids. It reminded me of how people often say that while ducks look calm on the surface, they were actually paddling furiously underneath. Hey, but in Iceland, those ducks don't even have the calm on the surface, and they're trying so hard and struggling below knees either. So perhaps that's something we all need to do like humans and animals. We have to keep striving to get what we want. Well, thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.